Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, good day to you, depending where you are in the world. Here it is midnight. It is midnight, so we are now into Friday, preparation day, biblically speaking, but commonly known as Friday in the world. We're doing my nighttime devotion, reading from Lift Him Up. The title is A Fountain of Pleasure and Joy. Psalms 16 verse 11. Thou wilt show me the path of life. In thy presence is fullness of joy. As thy right hand there are pleasures forevermore. So at thy right hand there are pleasures forevermore. The beauty of the mind, the purity of the soul, revealed in the countenance, will have more power to attract and exert an influence upon hearts than any outward adorning. A cultivated mind adorned with the grace of meekness and humility, a pure and upright heart, will be reflected in the countenance and command love and respect. Children and youth can, through cultivation of the intellect, depending upon God for success, develop firm and beautiful characters. The fear of God, the contemplation of the glories of nature in his created works will never dwarf the intellect, but will have a tendency to strengthen every faculty of the soul. It is the precious privilege of children and youth to yield their minds to the control of the Spirit of God and become intellectual Christians. Their mental and moral powers may grow in harmonious proportions. Their understanding may be strong, their consciences pure, and their characters lovely. If you would find happiness and peace in all you do, you must do everything in reference to the glory of God. If you would have peace in your hearts, you must seek earnestly to imitate the life of Christ. Then there will be no need of affecting cheerfulness or of your seeking for pleasure in the indulgence of pride and the frivolities of the world. You will have a serenity and happiness in right doing that you can never realize in a course of wrong. Jesus took human nature, passing through infancy, childhood, and youth, that he might know how to sympathize with all and leave an example for all children and youth. He is acquainted with the temptations and the weaknesses of children. He has, in his love, opened the fountain of pleasure and love for the soul that trusts in him. By seeking to honor Christ and to follow his example, children and youth can be truly happy. They may feel their accountability to labor with Christ in the great plan of saving souls. If youth will feel their responsibility before God, they will be elevated above everything that is mean, selfish, and impure. Life to such will be full of importance. They will realize that they have something great and glorious to live for. This will have an influence upon youth to make them earnest, cheerful, and stay under the burdens, discouragements, and difficulties of life as was their divine pattern. The consciousness that you are doing those things which God can approve will make you strong in his strength And by copying the pattern, you may, like him, increase in wisdom and in favor with God and man. And I say this, she's written this for the youth, but this is for us now. If we would live to be as Christ is, we would have his strength, his wisdom, his intellect. We will be elevated if we will be humble and meek. But how many of us do remain humble and weak and meek as soon as we are elevated, as soon as we're given a better position, better money? Pomp and pride is the biggest problem. Selfishness. Me too, I know. God help us all.